Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you could not tell by my voice, Brighton Pride has just finished and it was a weekend of partying. It was a weekend of seeing Mariah Carey. She literally came to Brighton and headlined the festival, and I live here. It was the most incredible weekend of all time. But yes, the weekend has done a number on my body and I have lost my voice, so I'm speaking at a little bit of a lower pace today. I hope you're all doing very well. It has been an interesting couple days on my YouTube channel. I posted the first episode of the podcast with Neve, and I kind of waited a couple days after posting that because it was a big moment of something that I had, it was very anticipated on my YouTube channel for me to talk about the touring experience and X1 Entertainment, and it had been something that I knew I wanted to talk about for a while and had been putting it off, and ultimately I made the decision to, do it and get into everything, and the reaction has been really, really, really incredible. Thank you so much. And a lot of people as well they were telling me they felt guilty for coming to the tour whenever they then listened to what was going on behind the scenes. And I just want people to know that if they came to the show, they're actually the reason that I was able to get through all of that time as well, because I was dealing with all this BS, but then going out on stage and seeing the muckers was actually the good part about it. So thank you so much if you were a part of my time in America. And yeah, if you haven't seen it, I would go and watch my last video on my YouTube channel, because it's a messy one and there's a lot to get through in it. And also with the podcast, I think there's only a couple days left for this, but me and Neve signed a bunch of these art cards for the launch of the podcast, and I think we're doing it until Thursday. So if you want to win these, by the way, just go over to our Instagram. It's the Adam and Neve podcast, and comment on this first image, which is of us, basically saying all you need to do is follow the account, follow Neve, follow me, and comment, and we will be picking people. We have a bunch to give out here, and we are going to be choosing and DMing those people by the time our second episode comes out on Thursday. So there's only 2 more days to enter if you want them. So yes, today I want to do a super chill video before I start getting into the mess again, and I want to talk about this article that I found, which says, what really happens to your phone when it's snatched by a thief in the street? A new investigation shows it going from London to Hong Kong, where there are millions of phones on sale. Now, the reason that I really want to talk about this again is this article literally follows to the places that these phones are being distributed. And the reason that this video is super, super, super important to me right now is if you have been following my journey of my phone being stolen in WeHo, I do have, unfortunately, the final update. And the final update is that my phone is now in Shenzhen, China, which is the final place that phones go before they are sold. Now, I did get threatening messages. I got that my family were going to be, if I didn't unlock my phone. They threatened to leak all of my texts. They threatened to leak my camera roll. It was a messy couple days of, specifically 2 weeks ago, I was getting a lot of texts from the iCloud, because when your phone is on lost mode, which is what mine was, it shows a phone number for contacts. So they were contacting me on a bunch of different phone numbers, basically threatening all these different things. And I think ultimately they found out that I was making YouTube videos on it, and the phone has basically, since the last 2 weeks, I think been either destroyed or taken apart for parts. Now, this is something that is really kind of blowing up on social media as well. Not necessarily my video, but I'm seeing a lot of people make these videos about their phone now ending up in China or Hong Kong. And someone had tagged me in a video as well where they're saying someone stole my phone at a concert in Ohio and it's now in China, and someone had actually stitched this and talked about my video and gave me a little bit of a shout out as well. And then this creator was like, Adam, let's go and get our phones in China. So I can't believe that this is becoming such a mainstream thing now, and for there to be a whole investigation kind of shows that people are more aware of it happening now, and I honestly find it really fascinating, and I'm really grateful that I was able to replace and get a new phone very quickly. I also needed to for work, but I'm so fascinated by it now. And even in Brighton, when I'm walking through the streets and I'm seeing these iPhone repair shops, I'm really fascinated by if they are also in on this, because if you don't know from the original story, my phone was ultimately handed over at an iPhone repair shop, which is where it then gets shipped to Hong Kong or China for it to be sold. And this article is really great because it literally follows and tracks the phone, and the people who are writing the article go to the place where the phones are being sold. And I'm so fascinated by it. So let's get into this. So it says, a shirtless man opens the door to a commercial unit on the 19th floor of a 25-story building in Hong Kong. His expression is vacant, a bloated belly hanging over his shorts and flip-flops. Behind him, his wife is cooking rice. Speaking of rice, I just got a rice cooker, and oh my god, if you do not have a rice cooker, babe, it is a priority. It is a priority. Oh my god, I have been fucking shit up in my rice cooker. I once was obsessed with an air fryer. I think I'm out of my air fryer phase. I love a rice cooker right now. And all my friends are telling me to get like an instant pot or something like that as well. Oh, I just moved into my new apartment and I'm going crazy with these new gadgets. So anyways, let's go through this article. It says, behind him, his wife is cooking rice. Steam billows from the stove, engulfing the cramped, colorless room and raising the humidity to suffocating levels. The couple are so bemused by our sudden appearance as to why they're there. There's no reason in the world why any Westerners would wind up on their door. But here we are. Somehow our painstaking investigation into London's phone theft epidemic has led us to this. It led us to this international trading address, which was where my phone, actually one of the first places of it was as well. This is the very building where an iPhone 11 Pro, which was snatched out of the hands of a 45-year-old estate agent on London's famous Baker Street, has ended up. And it has company. Now, this is what's really fascinating to me. Last year, around 80,000 phones were stolen in London. By the way, that is just London. Now, in my original video, I said that this was happening in the major cities because I had mine stolen in LA. Normally, this happens in like Washington, D.C., or it happens in, New York or something like that. However, these people are making TikToks now where they're saying that they're being targeted in like Ohio. I'm seeing this happen in Hawaii. This has now become such a big what would you even say? This has become such a big industry now of making money off of stolen phones. And I'll tell you one thing. I have a completely different attitude towards using my phone in public now after this happens. I either have gorilla grip on this bitch, it's never in my back pocket anymore, and I'm enjoying making these follow-up videos. And I love this investigation because, if anything, you now will be more aware of this happening. I always said that my phone would never fall out of my pocket, it would never get stolen, and so many times my mother would reference to me, your phone is going to get stolen one of these days, and I'm like, that'll not happen to me. I'm so aware of my phone. Let me tell you, babe, if it can happen to me, it can happen to you. So anyways, 80,000 smartphones in London alone were stolen. With an estimated 5,600 or 7% ending up in Hong Kong. The vast majority make their way to the dizzying skyscrapers of this town, a business district where traders from across the world gather to buy secondhand phones in mass scale before selling them at healthy profits. So again, if you do not unlock your phone from Find My iPhone or Lost Mode, they basically can't sell the phone. They have to take it apart for parts, which is why they start sending threatening messages, because they've just paid someone to basically ship your phone around the world and they can't even make a healthy profit on it. Get fucked, bitch. Who the hell's this? Who's this? Oh, Dylan James, pictured, had his phone snatched by a thief on an e-bike in January 2022. He was able to track the phone's location to Hong Kong. Hey babe, do you want to come on the podcast? This is something that I have a little bit of, I've been seeing videos of phones being stolen out of people's hands, and I've kind of been analyzing what they do. It'll always be an e-bike, so they can speed that shit up faster than you can run, and they always will swoop in at the last moment and literally just yank it out of your hand. And by the time you've reacted, bitch, they're gone on the e-scooter. Those e-scooters scare the shit out of me. And you know what the weirdest thing is? In Brighton, and I think even major cities, most of Uber Eats, Deliveroo, all these places use electric bikes, and they dress in a very similar way to the people that steal iPhones. It'll just be a random person on an e-scooter who will basically be wearing a black hoodie, maybe a black face mask, sunglasses. But a lot of people who do Uber Eats and stuff like that also wear a very similar outfit because it's a very standard outfit. It kind of wears as a uniform. It's also probably very comfortable whenever you're in the cold. So now every time I see someone on an Uber Eats bike, I get oh my God, my phone. So anyways, A worker can be seen in a secondhand phone shop in China. Thousands of stolen phones end up like in places like this. So let's really quickly analyze this image, shall we? So we see someone taking apart different phones right here. Oh, my sweet iPhone 16 Pro Max ended up here. She was probably so scared. And you know what I'm so fucking pissed at, by the way? This is dumb as fuck, but obviously I was so devastated that my phone got stolen. But the day that my phone got stolen, me and my mom drove like 40 fucking minutes to a K-pop shop in LA, and I got Kai's album, and I got the photo card of him by the pool, which is really hard to get. If you're a K-pop person, you'll understand this. If not, this means nothing to you. And I literally put it in the back of my phone, and it was that night that my phone got stolen, and I was equally upset about the fact that my photo card also got stolen, so my fucking sweet photo card is here somewhere. Okay, secondhand phones can be seen for sale in China, including several recent iPhone models. Now, I'm going to be right back because I need to turn the fan on because it's hot as piss in here. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, it is so hot in this room right now. Okay, so this is what's really interesting to me because so many of the iPhone repair shops that, like I said, even in Brighton, their displays literally look like this. And I always did just think that shops like that were phones being traded in and sold off. But I'm going to be honest, I am now side-eyeing if every iPhone repair shop, or I don't know, a majority of them are kind of used in this way for maximum profit. And a lot of people were actually commenting on my YouTube video that they handed their phones into iPhone repair shops to get like screens replaced or something, and their phones actually got lost, which is, I mean, very blatant what's going on there. But I am side-eyeing it. But again, I can't say that for sure, okay? So, oh my God, instant karma for phone snatcher. Ugh, I wish I could have done this. Look, it's bastards like that. It's bastards like that. The Daily Mail tracked down these Dell boys of the Far East by following stolen devices on an odyssey from the streets of central London and through suburban British warehouses before landing in the international markets of Dubai, Hong Kong, and ultimately ending up in China. And again, mine went to Hong Kong, and her final resting place is now in Shenzhen, China, which is where they all get sold. And as you can see, this is my phone's final resting place. As of 2 weeks ago, she has not been turned on, so my baby is gone. My baby is gone. What we saw was mind-boggling. These desirable gadgets clock up more air miles than the Speaker of the House of Commons and pass through the hands of countless middlemen, thieves, hackers, and dealers. Yet everyone gets a slice of the pie, except for the bastard that got the phone stolen. Scotland Yard says county line gangs are now switching from the drug trade and are now going to snatching phones. Now, this is crazy. People who were involved in drug selling are now moving on to stealing phones because it's more profitable. With the estimated street value of devices stolen in the capital alone topping £20 million. £20 million. Last year, it's no wonder the gangs are changing tack, particularly when the potential punishment pales in comparison. You know, if you get caught stealing a phone, you're punished a lot less than if you're caught, selling drugs. So basically, the money that you would get and the risk is ultimately so much better to be doing it with phones, which is why I think it's so important to talk about how this is actually an industry and maybe more punishments for people. The victims are vulnerable teens that they recruit for the job, often plucked from council estates, but also, of course, the ordinary Londoners, terrorized by the gangs and pickpocketers who swipe a phone every 15 minutes on average. Today, our investigation reveals exactly how, ripped from your hands on British streets, your phone will swiftly appear on the other side of the world. So, who's behind it, and can we do anything to stop it? Okay, so dawn was breaking as Dylan James, 41, was going down at Baker Street, and it was January 2022, and the estate agent was checking his messages on the way to work, scrolling through his iPhone 11 Pro. That's when, out of nowhere, a thief on an e-bike, it's always an e-bike, veered onto the pavement behind, snatching the phone out of his hands, hurling off at speed, because you can't do that with the e-bikes. Oh my goodness. Mr. James was able to use Apple's Find My tracking app. And you know what I'll give Apple? They have a really good system for whenever you lose or your phone has been stolen. I will give them that. Like, I feel like I would never move from iPhone anyway, but just the security aspect of it, I like want to stay with them for a very long time. So anyways, following its movements, 10 days later, he was surprised to find the iPhone had come to the place in Hong Kong about 6,000 miles away. So this is what's so fascinating to me. And this article is really good because they've detailed the journey that your phone goes on. So it says how your stolen phone ends up in China. So they have two different people and what happened with their phones. And what's literally has sent me over the fucking edge was I literally thought that this just happened in major cities. One of these people that they're tracking literally got their phone stolen at a festival in Brighton, the equivalent of like Brighton Pride, which I just spent my last week at. And I was so annoying with all my friends all weekend being like, where's your phone? Where's your phone? Where's your phone? Where's your phone? So Dylan had his phone stolen by thieves on Baker Street in London. The device then passed through various handlers in the UK. It then got packaged up at an industrial estate in Heathrow Airport area, one of the main airports in London. And then its final destination is a secondhand phone dealer working out of a commercial building in Hong Kong. And then for this other person, their phone was stolen by pickpocketers at a festival in Brighton. So Dylan got his stolen from people on a bike, purposely stealing it, whereas this other person got theirs stolen from pickpocketers. The phone is tracked to a Costco car park where it's likely being packaged up by handlers, which sounds so similar to my one going to a Westfield car park and then going to the iPhone repair shop. It then turned up at a secondhand electronics store near the Dubai airport. These bitches aren't even taking it that far. They're literally taking it to the airport and then are like, okay, now we're just going to sell at the nearest fucking shop. It finally ends up at an electrical components store in China where it's stripped for parts. So that's what's happening to my old phone. They weren't able to sell it as a full-on iPhone, so they have stripped it for parts, and it's now in China. So this is really interesting to watch where it goes, right? So this person got their phone stolen in Brighton. As you can see, that's literally where I am right now. It goes up here, it goes there, it goes there. Like, it travels far. These, like, look at this. They're stealing your phone here, and they're bringing it to Dubai, then they're bringing it to China. Some are flying it direct. I'm like, the money involved in this and the planning is crazy. So James said it was pinging from his commercial district in Hong Kong. It was truly incredible. That's what I felt too. I was like, oh my God, my phone gets to see Hong Kong and China before I do? Diva. And she didn't have to pay anything? Getting the police to investigate a thief is hard enough, let alone a phone. And if the stolen goods have ended up halfway across the world, forget about it, the police don't care. But the Daily Mail won't. We promised to investigate what had happened to Mr. James' phone and many thousands like it, can confirm, which vanish from British streets and towns, then mysteriously reappear in streets and workshops of Hong Kong or China. So anyways, it's a sultry summer's morning when our reporters arrive in, I don't want to mess up saying this, posing as businessmen seeking a large order of secondhand phones. I think this was so genius that they went in pretending that they wanted to buy the phones. Here, shabby concrete office blocks are squeezed into impossibly tight spaces, providing precious shade for the thongs of people making their way. Did I say thongs? Throngs. The thongs of people making their way to work. As we enter the building at the exact address, the last known resting place of James's phone, we're greeted by an uninformed woman at the reception desk of this lobby. When we explain what we're after, her suspicions are aroused. Speaking in Cantonese, she says selling second-hand phones is a little bit before tilting her head from side to side in the universal language that means dodgy. Nonetheless, she directs us to several units in the building that are in the trade. She said, this is so shady, but I'm going to bring you exactly where you want to go. So it is one of the few places open for business at this early hour, but the shirtless person who opened the door doesn't seem to be the talkative type. We want some cheap phones that work in the UK, we explain, and we understand that this is the place to get them. So here we see the building. So this is the building in Shenzhen where thousands of phones eventually come to rest. I love them saying that. So this is actually where my phone is right now. So I hope she's doing well. She's probably being stripped for parts, but baby, we are thinking about you, and I hope you enjoyed your time in Shenzhen, China. So here we see them on like electric bikes, stealing. The man tells us that he's out of stock, but if we place an order, he could ship them back to the UK. Okay, so they're not being stolen in the UK, shipped to Dubai, shipped to Hong Kong, shipped to China, and then they're saying, we can ship them back to the UK for you. He tells us nothing of his suppliers, although when later contacted by the Mail, he insisted its phones were legally obtained. And given that he's just one of the around half a dozen units at this building selling secondhand phones, there's no sure way to know which one contains the person's phone that they're after. It's a needle in a haystack, but that's nothing compared to what we would find a little bit further down the road. Bum, bum, bum. So the next place they went is a 31-story building home to 130 businesses, and at least a third of which are used mobile phone wholesalers. This is crazy. This place is notorious. Online messaging boards are inundated with people from the UK and USA posting screenshots of their Find My app showing their stolen phones had ended up in this place. Mine also had. Even the smallest shops or units have thousands of secondhand phones in stock, with some of the larger ones offering hundreds of thousands of devices wholesale. On the day that the Daily Mail visited, there were easily more than 1 million phones of varying country, condition, brand, model for sale in the building. So we're just seeing so many videos of people who were stealing phones either being caught or whatever, and my fucking God, I wish that I would have been able to catch the motherfucker who did that to my phone so I could beat the shit out of them. Oh my God, there's nothing I've dreamed of doing more. I'm like, when did you even take it out of my pocket? Bastard. Boxes of stolen phones at this address where multiple stolen devices have been tracked to. Please just take this photo in. These are all individual phones that have allegedly been fucking stolen. This is crazy. Look at this. It is just boxes, and that's each individual little one is a phone. Look at this. Like, I'm so fascinated by this industry, and it's such a new concept that a lot of people really aren't talking about it or aren't aware of this. These are all, look, phones. This is these are all, like, this is insane by batch numbers. It honestly is fucking insane to me. It honestly is fucking insane. So here we're seeing CCTV footage of people being thrown to the ground while people are stealing their phones. Some units were clearly fly-by-night operations, budget-looking businesses cramming boxes of phones into no little more than 100 square feet of office space. One man was lying in his shop on a mattress. Others appeared to be doing well from their enterprise. One unit had neon signs leading buyers to high tables displaying secondhand iPhones, mimicking a high street Apple store. It was crazy. Many secondhand phone sales are legitimate. Apple and other manufacturers use markets as this to offload customer returns. So that also is important to note here. But most of these sellers we find are cagey and Bristol when we ask them about where they got their phones. One wholesale does claim to have sourced some from the UK and leads us to a box of around 30 iPhones. As we continue around the dealership, now beginning to blend in, to one, we notice that boxes are often marked as, oh my God, this pisses me the fuck off. They have boxes of phones marked as iPhone locked, unlocked, has ID, no ID. This is fucking insane. This is what I'm telling you. When you don't unlock your phone and they start sending you these fucking threatening messages, it is like, they lose so much money. Thank God. Please inconvenience these people a little bit. But that's so crazy. They went in to the shop, pretending to buy. They want phones that work in the UK. That's what they're saying. And they're led to a box of phones from the UK that are iPhone locked, iPhone unlocked. Buyers say that the differences between phones that have been remotely locked through Find My most likely are from a thief. So here we see inside a shopping mall in China where numerous vendors sell these second-hand phones. So these are what the places look like. I wonder who bought my phone. Or I wonder who bought the pieces of it. So here we're seeing a bunch of masked people on e-bikes who are stealing phones from a woman and other people at a bus stop. So this suggests that at a glance, there could be hundreds, if not thousands, of phones snatched from the street. I've got to turn these damn effects off. I honestly don't even know how to do it. I need someone to, the podcast was ridiculous. I'd be like breaking down over X1 and it would be like confetti, fireworks, piss take, and I only noticed at the end of fucking filming. Anyways, of phones that are from the streets of London end up in one of these shops alone. But why are they here? Demand for secondhand smartphones is high in emerging markets for the simple reason that the locals don't have money to buy them new, particularly if hefty import duties are applied, which obviously aren't the case with these people. It's also the case, however, that many of these countries sit beyond the reach of the GSMA, which is the Global Systems for Mobile Communications Association, an organization that provides network blocking if a phone is reported stolen. Around 80% of phones stolen in London end up abroad. Find My data suggests that the most common destinations are Algeria and China, as well as Hong Kong. With its simple customs system and history of open trade, the ex-British territory is an ideal midpoint in the supply chain. So obviously it makes sense, right? Merchants from across the developing world come to this place to buy secondhand phones in bulk. I used iPhone 16 Pro. I had the iPhone 16 Pro Max, which was stolen. Is available here for as little as $500. Buying a new one would cost you double that. The Mail met a group of traders from India who say they come every quarter to order hundreds of phones for resale at their secondhand phone shop. So also with the iPhone repair shops, maybe they aren't inherently shady, but maybe the way they get their phones is buying them from people who steal them from other people, which is still shady in my opinion. Staff in a mobile phone repair shop in China working on phones that have been snatched from the streets of London. So here we go. Here we're seeing them work on... I wonder if it's any of these people that are like texting me threats saying they're going to like kill me and my family and leak all my shit online. I'm like, hey guys. They explained that the margins on resale were small, so profits relied on picking out the best value models from the plethora of options available and buying in volume. So now I'm fuming that I was one of the ones that they fucking want. A trader from West Africa leaving the building with 2 boxes of phones hinted at another cog in the chain. It is impossible to sell locked phones, he explains, unless you have the passwords. Get fucked. Y'all couldn't get into my phone. Get fucked. If a phone is locked, it's effectively unusable. So criminals will go to extreme lengths to unlock one. Foreign resellers will often use local hackers for hire for the fee of around $40 a phone, but many at home and abroad are not afraid to deploy more rude methods. So who knows? Maybe they have gotten into my phone. I just think they've taken it apart. So these rude methods are like when I'm getting videos of like guns being shot at like a mirror and they're like telling me they're going to kill me. Okay, so here we see a sign in a phone shop in China lists the array of products available, including iPhones. So we have special price mobile. I'm fucking sure it's a special price. Special hand mobile or secondhand mobile phones. Non-active mobile phones is crazy. The locked ones. Original iPhone LCD, mobile phone accessories, charger, cable, phone box, phone case, glass screen protectors, or English translations. So this is crazy. This is crazy. Phishing attempts where victims are duped into parting with their passwords and other sensitive data are common, while death threats to the original owner are often reported to the police. I didn't report mine to the police because I don't give a fuck. Like, what are the police going to do? The police do nothing on a fucking good day. You know what I mean? The rewards are significant. A thief who stole an iPhone or a locked iPhone 15 in London, for example, could sell it to the initial handler for about £100. This could then be sold on to a smuggler for $200, who will then flog it, selling it abroad for up to $400. But if anyone in this supply chain can find a way to unlock the device, they could double everyone's money as the resale value has now skyrocketed, which is why they start threatening. In many cases, a phone is impregnable. Never heard that word used like that before. Yet there is an answer for this, chopping it up for parts. A hop, skip, and a jump over the Hong Kong border lies the city of Shenzhen, which is where my phone currently is. Once a small fishing town, it's now known as the Silicon Valley of China. At its southernmost point lies the sub-district of this place, home to malls selling every bit of second-hand tech under the sun. I actually really want to go. I'm so fascinated by Shenzhen, China now that I so desperately want to go. And I hope you know that I'm being serious. I spend so much time now, just fixated on Shenzhen, China. I'm I want to go and experience these malls. I need to see it. I feel like I need to do it to move on from this because I'm going to be talking about this until my last fucking breath. Stolen phones end up here in vast numbers because traders can find buyers for every component of a device, from screens to circuit boards to chips and copper, once it's stripped for parts. Resourceful merchants will even buy unwanted plastic to melt down and use in bottles, while some phones go to recycling plants where batteries and metal elements are reused. As with the local cuisine, not a shred of the beast will go to waste. Locked or unlocked, there is money to be made from stolen phones. Some of the phrasing in this article is really weird, actually, by the way. Most of the traders to be found at this place are from Shenzhen. One Chinese merchant told the Mail that she goes to this place every week to buy thousands of phones to bring back across the border. So here we're seeing phone snatchers terrorize the London thieves. I love this video where this guy gets caught. It makes me so happy. I honestly just enjoy watching these videos of them getting caught now. Here we're seeing another person stealing this woman's phone. They literally just like come and grab it from her. And then by the time you react, they've zoomed on. It's crazy. So basically it's talking about, these buildings are like 29 stories. So on the fourth floor, frenzied trading takes place under a banner carrying a quote from their president, which says the Chinese race is one that is diligent in labor and skilled in creation. It is through labor and creation that we achieved historical glory. What the hell, sure. But that's true. There are also clear signs that the authorities are alert to what is going on here. Another banner warns of strict crackdowns on smuggling and illegal activities, while stalls bear signs that declare a refusal to recycle used iPhones with ID password locks, activation locks, and those of unknown origin. Perhaps it is just for show, though. So basically, we're seeing more people talk about their stories. The police obviously not going to do anything, whatever. Now, they end up talking more detail about people's individual stories here, but to make it all about myself, this happened to me, so I only care about... I'm kidding. No, I think we got everything we wanted out of that. Some of the phrasing in that article was really weird, by the way. But I just think it was weirdly stereotypical in ways. Quite problematic in some sense, actually, in my opinion. But anyways, I think it's really fascinating, and it's really interesting to know that this is a booming economy that is bigger than basically selling drugs, which is crazy. So what I'm going to tell you is RIP to my iPhone 16 Pro Max. She is in Shenzhen. She has been destroyed. I will love you for the times we had together, the trips we went on. It was all beautiful. To my new phone, I promise to protect you until I have to upgrade you, because I have such a deep parasocial relationship with this phone now that I will protect you so fucking much. I will always have a gorilla grip on you. I'm going to order one of those things that goes around my hand. I'm going to look like a loser. I promise to protect you with my life. And also my Felix photo card that a sweet girl gave me at the Stray Kids concert, I will protect you as well. Muckers, let me know your thoughts on this. Please, let's talk about it down below. It's great to see you again, and goodbye.